Hello there, Romans here and welcome to another music review. I review every album from a viewpoint of a musician, as I'm a singer, songwriter and bass player for my own group Jakube, and last year we released our debut album called Periphery in Life. What makes it unique is that it's a pretty heavy prog rock without guitars. Instead you have drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards. You can check out two of our singles on my YouTube channel. We're building our own monument and a studio live take of A Way to Oppose. Description of both videos you will find all the information about where is the record available. It's available on all digital platforms like Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, but also in this digipack version of a CD with a very beautifully illustrated 20 pages long booklet. So in case you want one, all you need to do is contact me via Facebook, Instagram, through email, or you can buy one on a Bandcamp. And today I'm going to talk about the new album from Periphery called Hail Stan.
Music review. Music review.
Periphery is a band that I've known for quite some time. They are sometimes considered to be the pioneers or one of the pioneers of the djent genre, and this is actually my introduction to the band. I have never listened to their records before, but I have seen them live in 2012 when they were supporting Dream Theater on their Dramatic Turn of Events tour. I think that was in Budapest in like February 2012. And I was aware of, for example, Adam Nolly Get Good, the bass player. I'm familiar with his work also outside of the bass territory. So, for example, this is one of his works, the Haken's Vector record. I've been meaning to listen to this group for quite some time, but you know, there's just so much music that I didn't have time for that. So I decided to take their sixth studio album called Periphery 4, Hail Stan, as an introduction to the band, and what an introduction that was. I've heard the record 7 times in the last 2 days and I've been really loving the record, so let's dive right into the review. The album opens up with an almost 17 minutes long epic track, Reptile, that really seemed to be containing everything that you can find on this record. It has orchestral beginning, and you will be able to hear orchestra quite a few times in forms of arrangements, which I really dig. And when we hear the vocals for the first time, they have a very whispery quality. They kind of remind me of what Marilyn Manson does with his voice. And this is one of the 4 forms of the vocals that we can hear on the record. There's also clean singing, which I really like on this record, screaming and growling. And I'll be honest, I'm not necessarily a fan of the screaming of Periphery's lead singer. I really like the balance on this record. Even though there's a lot of aggression in that screaming, there's also a lot of melodies. There are just so many memorable moments on this record that you will sort of remember upon like first 2 or 3 couple of listenings, and these moments will make you want to revisit the record more often. One of those moments is, I guess, some kind of a outro in this track. It's a very long song, so it has a lot of different parts, but this outro is actually so great in terms of melody that they decided to reuse it as an outro also in the song Garden in the Bones. Also, when the song gets towards the end, we hear those sort of aggressive screams, but combined with big chorus, and they just create another one of those very, very memorable moments. There are also some ambient parts, and we hear some electronic elements towards the end of the song, which is also something that will appear more often on the album. The following two tracks are slightly more on the heavier side, like Blood Eagle is actually the first single out of the record. They shot a music video for this song, and when I watched the music video I wasn't sure I was gonna listen to this record because it's a lot heavier song. It is mostly dominated by screaming, but it has a mid section that is actually pretty memorable. The similar track is Follow Your Ghost, which also has that melodic mid-section and orchestral arrangements towards the end, which is pretty cool. Probably the heaviest track on the album is Church Burner, which is really extremely heavy. And the chorus is melodic and still pretty badass. I kind of wish the whole song was like that. I also like those electronic elements at the end, which I would like to hear more often on the record. Then there are a few tracks that seem to be more on the melodic side. For example, It's Only Smiles. The beginning really reminds me of one of the most famous guitar-oriented ambient bands, Taiho. And this is more of a poppy song that has like a teenager vibe. And if you put this song next to the Church Burner, you may feel like these are two different bands. I really like this track. Also, Crush has like an industrial beginning that reminds me of a German band, Alive Divided, so if you like this, be sure to check them out. This is more like an electronic rock, it's slightly more on the experimental side with some orchestral arrangements. I really like this track. And it has an interesting ending where for like a minute or a minute and a half you hear just an orchestral part which seems like from some kind of a score. The final track, Satellites, is 9.5 minutes long, and first half of the song is in that ambient poppy territory. It's almost like a chilling song that you can calm yourself down with. And then it kind of metals up in the second half, but even though we hear all those aggressive screams, it's still, the melody prevails, and I really like how the song progresses. And then we have two more songs where there seems to be this perfect balance between melody and violence, like for example Garden in the Bones, which I've already talked about, and also Sentient Glow, which is like this modern metal song. So to sum up, despite me being maybe not a huge fan of those screams and all that stuff, I really enjoyed this record. I'm gonna keep listening to it, and honestly this may be one of the best records I've heard this year, so I was kind of surprised with it. If you have never listened to Periphery, maybe similarly to David Townsend's Empath, which I did a review for last week, but not to such a degree, you need to be a little open-minded when approaching this record, but it's a very good album. I will definitely check up their older stuff. So what's your opinion? Did you agree with me or you didn't? You can let me know in the comment section below. Also let me know how well do you think this record compares to their previous stuff. Maybe which record would you recommend me to listen to next? If you like this review, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. You can check out my own original music, my live performances, my worst to best series, and quite a lot of other reviews on the channel as well. So thanks a lot for watching.